I mean, I'll bring it up in the morning. Actually, I'll say like,
Okay.
interestingly, I happened to spot a zeppelin moving northeast, direction I have never heard of. But I suppose
A direction you've never heard of?
Never heard of northeast.
the direction I've never heard a zeppelin taking.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it is early. I'm not quite awake yet.
No problem.
We get it. Common or whatever this language is not your first language.
Exactly. I mean, I would guess it's traveling to the city of Silvermoon, but we don't know why. Just thought I would bring it up.
Yeah, it's something to bear in mind.
We
but
must remain on our guard.
Indeed, as always, as always.
Maybe keep on traveling, I guess.
Keep on keeping on.
Okay. Give me that survival check. Oh, weather. Weather is still fair. Not quite as nice as it was, but not rainy or snowy or
Do you
anything.
have advantage,
Okay.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
23.
Sick.
So glad we're on the path, you know? There's something. All these abominations, like, where is everybody?
Yeah, you have another good day's progress. Despite the fact that you seem to be, you're like high in the mountains. People would normally expect us to make everything take a bit longer, but actually you're trotting along at a fair clip.
Nice. We almost there.
I mean, we're naturals.
We almost there, Chris.
You find yourselves like, on the shores of Lordmere Lake that afternoon.
Nice.
But it will not be nearly as long traveling through the uplands as you had anticipated and planned for. Someone draw for me on the map. Oh,
My time has come.
like the ideal route that you're trying to take. I remember it being discussed, but like, okay, let's say.
Right,
let me
in
get my.
How do you make softly straight lines?
Using the polygon / line tool.
Get
Like
or get good.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Roll for wisdom, I guess.
And then coming from behind. No, I don't know about that idea. But that's a chance until we get to closer. I think that's it, right, boys?
Yeah, stay far from the bulwark, but also not too close to the undercity. I mean, the farmstead is like a landmark, but it's probably not.
Is it though? Like, it's a farm.
Not that bad.
Yeah, right? It's a farm. And also, we can't get that far away from the farm. Like, also, I'm guessing, the distance we are from the farm is actually pretty far, right?
Yeah, I think there's Fog Glades has like a lot of woods. I mean, there might be dead trees.
Yeah, I
but
mean, we
there's still
gotta
trees.
get some watch. We gotta be like near Brill, really near Brill.
Yeah, Brill's like our first.
Yeah,
point,
that's our
right?
first stop. Yep, the Zeppelin Tower. I mean, how far south is the Zeppelin Tower from Brill, Chris? It just says it said the Zeppelin Tower south of Brill, but like
Not far, like less than a kilometer. Like,
okay, cool. So yeah, I don't know a bit about the end, but that's our idea, Chris.
don't know about the bit at the end.
I mean, once we get past the road, if we manage to circumvent that,
Sure.
I'll be amazed. We're not dead yet, so who knows what'll happen after. I deleted it. Did you want it still up?
No, that's fine. I got it now. So yeah. Direction of travel now then is much more northwest than it was west, and as you're sort of coming down out of the Alterac foothills and into still hilly but once inhabited terrain that is certainly, at least for now, part of the Plague Lands. Okay, so you guys are coming out of the Alterac foothills. You are looking down across the gently sloping, and still is the upland, so it's quite undulating. It's not sort of flat terrain, but there are like old settlements and stuff mixed in there, and there's like some farmland and stuff. It's not completely mountainous. And off to your right, a couple of miles away, sort of at the base of the foothills, there's a farm. You can make out kind of nestled between a couple of rises. And you've seen this in the middle of this big field. It was once part of the farm. It's now clearly overgrown. A large cauldron. and you can also make
How large are we
out,
talking?
like like spa tub size.
Okay.
Like a I don't know, but these come in different sizes as well. Like like a proper like a
jacuzzi.
proper hot tub. You could like a jacuzzi. Like you could easily get I mean like
4 people.
Yeah, 4 people would be very comfortable. You get 8 in there, but then you like kind of squish together, and it's a good sized cauldron.
8 people down.
You can also make out that there are figures in the field. It's too far away to make out any details about them, except for the fact that they are all medium sized and.
Are they moving?
Yes, they're moving about. There's bustle.
Any possible way to know what the fuck is happening here?
You
Knowledge
can
checks,
roll
please.
a history check.
Ooh. +1, like all my knowledges.
See if I have a bonus.
7.
Doubt I do.
Can Jack have all of
+2.
advantage if he
Oh
knows
my
what it
lord.
is in game?
That's how that works.
The trend of Shalon randomly knowing shit that she
The
shouldn't.
night elves. The
Yes.
night elves both know.
I mean, at least you're learned. I'm just so merchant.
I know, but I have a +0.
Yeah, that's true. I have a plus.
The night elves both know that within the lands of Lordaeron, back when the Scourge was active, commanded by the Lich King, and determined to propagate its existence across all of Azeroth, that Scourge lords and necromancers would construct these plague cauldrons and, using vile ingredients, feed them and cause them to spew poisons into the air, which would propagate the plague throughout the land, claiming it for the Scourge.
Right, so as we see this, I let out a low whistle and like,
Wait, so you say
That
like
can
they're
be good.
you say they spew forth like poison and shit?
yeah.
Like,
Yes, plague.
so like what happens if we get that poison in our system?
You could become Scourge. You could get the old plague, and then Arthas would come and cut your head off.
But
We can
what
try
I
the Scourge.
remember is that it's pretty obvious when,
Yeah,
plague
like,
is
yeah,
about in the air and stuff.
When you got the plagues, you can tell. And the cauldron does not seem to be spewing forth vile, noxious gases currently, although there's activity around it between it and the farmhouse. With a 19, Shalon, you believe that you remember that the cauldrons were an invention, or the idea of the cauldrons was an invention of the Lich, the necromancer / Lich Kel'Thuzad, when he was a present force.
I know of him.
He brings back the dead every turn.
Okay.
Before he got
Excellent.
beaten and then beaten again.
Yeah. But he gets beat a lot. The speed off.
But he's still not dead so much. Amazing.
He's got a phylactery somewhere, and someone's got to smash it.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck is that? What the
I'll
fuck
relay
is
the
that?
information with what I knew to Silas.
Just assuming that Talia knew, because Talia's
Well,
not flat.
Talia seemed to know at least a little bit. There's like some recognition, not like blank dog face. You know. Sorry.
You guys are getting better at reading dog emotions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
The different snarls and
Wag my tail, you know.
His tail's like tucked right now.
Women
So
have tails.
Yeah.
They have to.
I never noticed
Yeah,
it in
because
game.
they kind of they're quite they do because they're quite hunched over. So I think it's a balance thing.
Yeah.
Not that orcs have tails, but they're just they just don't fall over by sheer muscle.
Alexa too.
And because #fuck physics.
Exactly.
If that cauldron is able to do its job, how far can the plague spread from one cauldron?
How many miles area would it be?
Yeah, like miles, like
So
2, 3, 4.
we're within
5
range
miles,
of it.
maybe. Yeah.
For sure.
But I assume we are about the only things alive in these surrounding areas, so we do not have much call.
It also is like it claims land. It kind of scourges the land and makes it all. Sort of, it's like if it's like creep tuners, right? It's you know that's in StarCraft 2 they put these things down and it claims it scourges the land.
I scan Chris using my command center. Shoot it.
God. Now I know how it feels. I've never played StarCraft.
Yeah, right. Well, to get my observe out there, Chris, and take them out.
Must construct additional pylons. Am I right, guys?
You can't take them out with an observer. That's what StarCraft is.
My stalkers. My stalkers is how pretty much. I'm not sending the observer out by itself. Okay.
Sure.
Chris, I look through the scope on my sniper rifle to see if I can get a closer look.
Ooh, a good idea.
I should pull it up on the outside.
Okay. Yeah. You scope in. You have a pretty powerful scope. And survey. Just like you just see a scourge face like zoom right.
He's right there. Someone pasted on the end of my scope. Fucking any full jokes here.
You zoom right in. Yeah, you can survey while previously it was only just like vaguely humanoid figures that could be determined. You can see what they're up to. The activity in the field is many. When I say many, I'll give you an actual number because you will be interested in that, I suppose.
Yeah.
20 or so. They keep coming and going from the main farm building, which seems to be also another sort of center of the activity. So it's hard to be sure. But they are 20 or so ghouls and skeletons and sort of minor undead. That are give me a perception check actually while I describe.
Someone help me.
We can't. We don't have more.
No one else has like any spotting.
But we have elven eyes. So.
17.
17. Okay, good. So yeah, they are ferrying
microphone activated.
Like packages from the farmhouse, like carrying them out to the cauldron and unwrapping them and dumping them in. Some of them are affixing large chains. Four total in each of the cardinal directions that are kind of staking the thing down, running about like halfway out the length.
We've got a compass in the cardinal directions.
That are like staking the thing in place. And some of them are working to. No, none of them are working to light a fire under it. Basic Scourge wouldn't do that. So yeah, at the moment, some of them are working to set up these chains, and most of them are sort of ferrying ingredients to it.
Any guy in charge?
You see no one in charge, but it is clear that these are not the actions of regular, mindless Scourge. Like something has clearly directed like a quite advanced operation to occur here. You do see, just hanging about in the field, a couple of banshees that in the light of day are hard to spot, but with your 17 you see them. They are not working or anything, they're just kind of like hanging around, gliding around, keeping watch. But you see no obvious figure in command. I'll put it at a couple of miles away. I'd say 1.5 to 2 miles away.
Damn, that's far.
Good thing you got that scope. So yeah, it's too far to take a shot, but like the scope, like it zooms in to the point where the scope, like half the field fills the scope, so you can make out the figures.
Microphone muted.
By looking.
Channel switch.
When you roll a 17, sure.
By peering intently, exactly.
So I'll lower this and be like, there's quite a few. I think I counted as many as 20. I guess lower undead skeletons and ghouls and the likes, and I think I saw 2 banshees in the field. They're working to light the cauldron, I believe. They seem to be having some kind of strong purpose. They don't seem mindless. Well, that's all the Morgan voice I'm receding. I think there are.
Do I have any idea if there's like a settlement anywhere nearby that they would be trying to turn with this?
It wouldn't reach far strong, Brad, would it?
No, it definitely would go as far as Strombrad. It wouldn't probably even reach as far as the Bulwark.
Wait, we're closer to a bulwark already. Where the fuck are we right now?
Well, you've been traveling pretty well, so you're not that far. Here-ish?
Damn, that's pretty far.
Probably a little further south.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
It's like, I mean, there's definitely settlements around. Like there were, and this was an inhabited place. I mean, there was like a farm here, and there will be other farms and stuff around. But no, like nothing inhabited that you know of. But it kind of pollutes water and infects the wildlife, and you get undead bears and stuff, and it just generally. I mean, we're still in the plague land, so this is still like already fucked up terrain. But it's become less fucked up since the fall of the Lich King, and there seems to be some attempts to reassert Scourge authority over some of the local area.
There's no like guards or anything, like no transport waiting to like transport it anywhere.
No, not to the Silas or.
Yeah, so as I kind of lower my shoulder now after I told him what I see, I'm like, what are your thoughts? You seem to at least have some knowledge of these cauldrons. I understand that it would be a bad thing, but is it really worth trying to intervene?
Well, from what I've heard, is that these things basically ruined the entire country.
Ancient knowledge over here.
Everyone's gonna go home with cancer. All the manual Scourge labour is gonna consume this.
I admit, if I hadn't seen the Banshees, maybe there'd be some chance, but 2 Banshees and 20 of undead seems like a difficult fight if we can avoid it.
No doubt. I do wish to attempt at least to.
Yeah, everyone
Stop
give me
it.
perception checks as you're having
Oh,
this
shit.
conversation.
Hello, I see you're planning to stop my evil undead. please do not. Ah, yes, bye.
No, guys.
Right, Jackie, you got us. There we go.
No one notices anything.
But remember, we should always be on our guard. Kind of man. Just give me another check.
We kind of glanced over this before, but do you have any idea how to actually fight a Banshee? It seems pretty impossible and kind of
I mean,
intimidating.
you can cut them in half, right? You got to pass your save and then you're fine. Otherwise you're dead, basically. That's all it seems to go down to. If you have a magic weapon, I think you have a good chance to kill them before they can get out of hand.
None of us do.
I know. So...
Kind of regrets vending that two-handed sword, but
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, it could just possess us, right? We can do shit. That was a problem.
have we tried rolling knowledge check on Banshees?
Yeah. Right, that's what we found out, but they could possess us and shit.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I still do have, like, I can still pull up my holy symbol and try to scare him like a group away, but
Actually,
so
if they
last
pass the
time
save.
the majority didn't.
I mean, if we get to a hidden location, I could try to take a shot at a few of the ghouls and at least scare them away from the cauldron.
Are they easily scared?
I can keep shooting until they are scared or there aren't any.
Point, I
Can
suppose.
I have another round of perception checks?
What is happening?
What the fuck? How? How?
13, Chris. 13's not bad. Is it?
Yeah, it's at this point, Silas, glancing back to them and considering the shots, it's at this point that you don't know how you missed it previously. You notice the line of figures coming out of the north, that seem to be approaching the field at quite some speed, obscured by a large cloud of dust. A line, possibly two men deep, charging towards it.
Get the scope again.
You get the scope again. Okay, good. You peer in and you
it's Paladin boys.
focus and up and down, and eventually find the dust cloud and focus on the base of it. There is a cavalry charge, two ranks deep, 15 wide, a total of 30.
There's 30 of them.
30.
Get fireballed, Chris. Do you remember this? Paladin charges. Bad idea.
I've heard this story.
30 knights. Riding out to the north, down a gentle slope, having crested a ridge, and charging at the oblivious.
They get possessed one by
at the oblivious camp. They're only about 100 feet away from it. Actually, by the time you noticed, you got the slope out and looked at them, so they're pretty close. And you can make out they themselves look to be undead. The horses are sort of emaciated and largely skeletal, but still running on as they do. But the quality of their equipment seems to be quite well looked after. You can make out the gleam of breastplates and swords in the light. As you watch, they fall upon the. They set upon the field, smashing through the crude fence that had been constructed around it, and a melee ensues. They set about the figures. More come pouring out of the farmhouse. The banshees, begin bansheeing, and you can even almost probably make out the wailing from this distance. But the group that is attacking seems quite well organized and prepared. They have a leader. An undead in plate mail wielding a large, shining two-handed sword, and it was sending heads rolling left and right. And a robed figure comes out of the house and begins casting spells. He smites down a couple of the cavalrymen, blasting them and their horses to pieces before more set about him, and just overall. A giant clusterfuck of a combat is occurring all of a sudden.
So we can probably figure out that something's happening as well. Right?
I mean, I would have pointed out it.
Yeah. You guys can. You guys when he started scoping in, you can make out the charge approaching at the base of the.
So I can see the circular, and I can see what they're wearing and stuff.
What they're wearing is. Give me a perception check. Because again, it's 2 miles away. Your scope's not that powerful.
It's not that good, I guess.
Okay, I mean, you can make out.
Someone else come have a look.
You can't make out any heraldry or
But that's 30 of them. Seems a bit coincidental. Maybe people just like going off in 30 groups of 30.
I mean, that could be standard protocol,
But okay, Chris, so there's the people mounted and stuff and the undead. What do I know about Death Knights? Do Death Knights look like this? I don't know. Death Knight's actually undead. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Death Knights do summon. Death Knights do ride undead steeds. They use necromantic magic. They summon undead under their own domination to fight by their side. They're heavily armored.
This guy, did you say? Could I see if these people were actually undead?
These could be Death Knights. No, you can tell these are also undead.
These are also undead.
Yeah.
But Death Knights themselves aren't undead, right?
I mean, there can be undead Death Knights, but
that wouldn't be Forsaken.
No, but all Death Knights are dead but brought back.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not the same as Forsaken, but
yeah.
But these ones look. But
Death Knights are specifically raised as Death Knights. They're not reanimated. They're raised.
Different schools of magic, I guess.
Yeah.
But you have to kill them after they finish their training and they come back or some shit?
No, the Lich King, when he was making Death Knights, would select souls that would serve him well as Death Knights and raise them as Death Knights and break them to his will before.
But what about nowadays when Death Knights aren't
Now the Death Knights, no more Death Knights are being made. Well, I mean, okay, you can still go into the game and make it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But like, it's if you in WoW, if you go make a Death Knight character, you do this like whole starting experience prior to.
Some new Death Knights are being made. Like in the Death Knight campaign, you like raise champions, like the new Four Horsemen ship.
Okay, that's true. So yeah, Death Knights. Some powerful Death Knights today are doing what Arthas did and raising new Death Knights. But all Death Knights that exist today have free will. They're basically free will, badass necromancy motherfuckers.
And they don't like they don't like the Scourge, right? Or do they like the Scourge?
No, they despise the Scourge.
So it would make
all Death Knights have a hatred of the Lich King and everything.
So it would make sense for these guys to be Death Knights.
Yeah, they could easily be Death Knights.
Hey, you guys need the Death Knights. What do you think that? Wait, but like the number of it being 30 is very.
Well, as they're charging, I'm like, oh, are these the paladins we've heard of?
Don't worry, love.
I'm kind of looking for like, perhaps, but their steeds seem to be undead, and on a closer look, I believe them to be as well.
Yeah, a couple of them don't have helmets on. And...
I just said I'm like, oh.
So if they are the paladins, it's not
something went very wrong with Andoril.
But the paladins went to Andoril. If they went to Andoril, there's no reason they'd be turning this one into them be fighting into this cauldron. Because
they're quite like.
Well, if this cauldron is Forsaken instead of Scourge, the Forsaken and the Scourge do not blend well.
What did you say? Sorry, Spawn. Repeat yourself. The DM was talking.
Alright, well, there's a scenario which could happen in that the paladins were turned by the Scourge, and that this cauldron we are seeing is in fact Forsaken. Scourge have become more active.
The Forsaken use these cauldrons, but I saw them to be ghouls and skeletons building this cauldron.
I believe the Forsaken have used cauldrons like these. Do I know about like their use of like ghouls and shit?
Sneaky bitch, you know. Sylvanas is all about like that sneakily doing unethical shit.
But wait, so the cauldron, if the Forsaken made it, what would it turn people into? Scourge still?
No, it'd probably turn them into Forsaken.
Okay.
Well, it might just kill them like it did at the math game. Like the Scourge. Technically, Sylvanas wasn't behind that, but like you know she really was.
I mean, the weapon was she was kind of.
It was Jaina. We know it.
Jaina and Angrathar.
But like, do the Forsaken use ghouls and skeletons and banshees to do their work?
Definitely use banshees, considering Sylvanas is technically one, I believe.
No.
Wait,
Sylvanas can just cast possession? That's bullshit. How are we meant to fight it?
Don't know if there's much difference between ghouls and Forsaken. Shalan, you have any? Uber? That was just my theory.
No, I mean ghouls are just like one class of like general undead. There's like skeleton form, and ghouls is like the same thing with a bit more flesh still on and stuff.
Right. So, in my head, it is possible that Scourge and Forsaken are currently fighting. We can't understand who else would be attacking if they are undead.
Yes, I think most likely it's a Scourge building the cauldron, and perhaps Sylvanas or someone else sent out the Forsaken to stop it. But I admit, that's just a guess.
This could be quite important to our mission, but get just a little closer, yes.
Yeah.
Not too close.
Alright, yeah. But how's the fight going, Chris? Is it still going on, or is it over?
By now, it's over. It was short and swift and decisive. Every member of the ground force that was there constructing the cauldron seems to have been slain. The cavalrymen, of the 33 or 4, seem to have lost their unlives.
No.
But it's been a fairly decisive victory for them. like a couple of them are sort of corralling all the horses in one place. A group of them are destroying the chains around the cauldron, and like as they smash the last one, another some more of them sort of tip the whole thing over. Still more of them are piling up all the corpses in a big heap. And as you watch, you see.
No, we're getting closer. We're going closer.
Okay. As you're going closer, you're observing all this. You see smoke begins to rise from the farmhouse.
Okay, but yeah, we're making our way there.
Okay, how close do you want to get?
Within. What's the range on the sci-fi film?
Half a mile?
1,600
Half a mile,
feet?
about that. Yeah, I don't know what 600 feet is.
As we
like
see,
5,200 and something feet. What happened? Feet in a mile. 5,280. Oh, so
You were
So yeah, like 2,500 feet or something, I guess.
okay, so half a mile away. Okay, sure. Okay, and I assume you guys are being like relatively stealthy because you are kind of coming
stealthy.
down a hillside, but like sure,
Stealthy.
okay. In which case, everyone, give me stealth checks with advantage because they're busy and you're a long way away.
Oh, if they just see us, I'm gonna die. It's like 27 per second. Or death knives or whatever.
what happened to the banshees? Do we know?
I definitely got fucked up.
Yeah, the fight wasn't being watched when like whatever happened to the banshees happened to the banshees, but they don't seem to be present anymore.
24.
I don't have advantage, right? Because I've played Mel. Or...
Yeah, you just have regular stealth.
Damn it. You stayed behind.
16 is
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, with relative alacrity, all of you make your stealthy way to like you shelter under us in the shade of a kind of large
Oak tree.
I don't know what kind of trees are there. Yeah, oak tree. That's the only kind of tree I know of. And like
right.
kind of take up a position of high ground and watch it much closer now with a better view.
As we...
As you... Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, as you begin watching, the bodies have just finished being piled up, Silas, and you see through the scope one of the riders, who seems to be the commander, stride forwards towards the heap, raise his two-handed sword like aloft in the air, and a beam of radiant light bursts forth from the clouds. And halos and enshrines the entire heap of corpses of light, burning them all away to ash and leaving a kind of blackened circle on the ground where they had sat.